You're listening to Mattress Matters, the podcast that brings you real strategies and business growth insights from successful store owners across the country. Hosted by James Cluster of Sell More Mattresses, this show is your go-to resource for boosting sales, mastering marketing, and building a thriving business. Get ready to be inspired, informed, and equipped with the tools to take your store to the next level.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Mattress Matters. I am so excited here. We have Stephen Quint from Virginia, and he has been on fire since he opened his doors. And I'm really excited. He's got so much to share with you. He has so much experience, a lot of life experience too, that I think he can share with you. So I'm privileged and honored that he is joining us today, and he's going to share a lot of cool things. So welcome, Stephen. Thank you for being here.
Oof. That was a serious intro. So great. I don't know if I'd ever win an award, but if I ddid, I'd be like, call James. He's gonna be the one to call me up. He would be good at that.
Good. You're definitely deserving.
Appreciate that.
I sent you a bullet point list of things I want to go over today, but I'd love to just start a little bit with like your background and what brought you into the industry, because you haven't been in it that long. You've been on fire, and I'd love to hear a little bit from you, what your life experience has been up to this point, what got you here.
Yeah. So for me, I've always been big into sales pretty much since I was a child. My first business, I was about 8 years old, and my dad was in town. I lived in a city where there weren't a lot of dads present. Like, I'm 38 years old. So like it was in like early 90s and stuff like that. So a lot of dads were killing the factory jobs, putting in 18-hour days. And so I had a bicycle fixing business where I would bring the bikes home, and I would tell my dad that my friends don't have dads and he had to fix their bikes. And then I would charge the kids candy bars. So that was my first business. My dad was my first employee. He doesn't even know it, to be honest with you, I don't think. So I've just been doing stuff like that forever. But when I see things, I've just seen them differently. Like one of the businesses, like a small one that I ran, I found out that my college was buying psychology textbooks back for $55. And I found out that I could buy them on Amazon for 10. So I bought like 200 of them. And I was literally just hawking them out of the trunk. So I've always just seen things a little different. And those were like when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But then I ended up like I owned and operated a woodworking business. And then I used to own about 200 vending machines. We had 5 food trucks at one time. I still own a coffee business. We've planted a church. Like, just seeing like systems and operations and things, that's always been something that's came naturally to me. But then I've came alongside of like different organizations and different people that have really helped me, like similar to like our relationship, like with Sell More Mattresses. I knew nothing about the mattress industry realistically 150 days ago. I knew nothing at all. I've been open for only 87 days, actually. So
That's incredible.
but we moved from Michigan to Virginia about 7 or 8 months ago. My wife was originally born in this area.
Okay.
So all of her family's down here. All of my family was up in Michigan. And when we decided to move, we didn't realize it, but school down here started about 3.5, 4 weeks earlier than up north.
Okay.
So we decided to move in the summer, but then we realized we have to move like right now.
Mhm.
So we kept our house in Michigan. We have a 4-bedroom house in Michigan that we kept as an Airbnb. So we
Okay.
had to leave the beds. And so in Michigan, we wanted to keep my wife wanted to keep our bed. In Michigan, we found like a warehouse mattress guy, and we bought a couple mattresses to leave. And then when we got to Virginia, we actually did the same thing. We had to furnish a 5-bedroom house here. And we were calling around and like on Facebook and stuff, and I ran into essentially a mattress flipper, like a warehouse mattress guy. And I was shocked at how low he was selling them. And then I just realized like the market is nuts. So I started researching, and I got on a call with Clint Gravett, which is a super nice guy. And he talked me through and mentored me. And then I just got on with Mattress by Appointment, which is the company that I'm a part of now. So they gave me like all of the practical stuff as like far as like mattresses are concerned, and like starting an industry into an industry like this. But a lot of like my past experiences have been helpful. But yeah, like I said, like 150, 170 days ago, I never thought about a mattress until I was tired. That was it. Um, yeah. So it's been a quick
Yeah.
moving,
That's
for
it,
sure.
dude. It's impressive. I remember too. You reached out maybe about a month and a half, I think, before you were getting the ball rolling. But obviously, these things take a little bit of time. You got to find your lease
Yeah.
and you got to sign agreements and all that stuff. So you could reach out super early. We had a long conversation about what we're doing and how it works, and you told me your background, and I definitely thought, even just from our initial conversation, that you were going to have a lot of success doing this because
Mhm.
you're very friendly, you're great, easy to talk to, and I think
Ooh.
and I think that those you've got some easy sales skills that are there. I'm curious because not everybody that comes into the industry has a sales background, or certainly we're not hiring their dad to
Right,
uh,
right,
uh, and doing arbitrage with books and things like that. So
right.
what do you think is like a key for somebody that is coming to sales for the first time, doesn't have really any experience? They're probably coming from like a corporate background or a retail background, but they're not working for themselves. What is a big key for you about like how to get those sales done?
Yeah. So for me, I think it's super important to just recognize like what you are good at as an individual, and the things that you're not good at, like you can really try hard to work on them, or you can bring people around you. That's one of the things that I've really enjoyed about like different partnerships that we've had. But for me, like when somebody is directly in front of me, if they're in my mattress shop, there is a problem. Like the problem is that they need a mattress. Great news is I've got 100 of them. So like we have a problem, and I do a ton of customer mirroring. Any problem that a customer has, I have that same problem, but then I solved it. And it was solved by a brand new mattress and a great night's sleep and stuff like that. So when I find out what's really bothering people, like I've had customers come in before, we joke about it with MBA in the industry, but people say, I bought a mattress on Amazon 6 months ago and it's already deteriorated. It's already sagging. And so that's an easy one because the problem is I can't believe I have to buy another mattress already. And it's only been 6 months. It's only been 9 months. And then I just lose my mind. I'm like, that's ridiculous. Are you kidding me? And they got your hard earned money and you were like, you had to put in overtime. And I just make it to be this huge deal. And then we talk about how horrible it is. And then bam, I can fix it in a second. Like great news is that we have mattresses with 10-year warranties. And I just go down this list when you didn't get to lay on your mattress at Amazon and you get to pick out the exact one here. And if you have problems with it, I'm a phone call away and you can't call Amazon. So I basically take a lot of these problems and I solve them, but then also I take a lot of the fear away, which is a big deal. Because one of the things that's like another problem that we see a lot, and I get to just be a hero, is that if people are shopping around at like big box mattress stores, they see the big prices, but then they come to me and I already won. Right. Because I'm half the price of what a lot of those places charge. But a lot of our customers are moving, and nobody likes to move. Like moving is the worst. It's expensive, it's time consuming, and it's not even like just the initial move. Like for a month later, like you're putting your stuff away, and it's stressful. And I always touch on that. Like when people are moving, I'm like, oh, I just moved. It's the worst. But good news is that we have all of these things set up that if you get your keys at noon on Saturday, I'm there at noon 30 with a smile on and delivering your brand new mattresses for your whole family. And then they're just like, they're relieved because it's just one less thing. So when I can find the problem, I can easily add up all the costs to that problem and build this mountain of issues. And then I get to be the one that just blows all the issues away. But it's also nice because it's not like in a way of I get to be the hero. It's I actually did solve a problem. We do have mattresses that are significantly better. We do have mattresses that are significantly cheaper. And I was able to deliver it the exact time that you needed it. So it's nice in that aspect because it's just those objections that really come quickly and they're huge because everybody's problems in their life are huge. But if we can kill them together, then it's a long lasting relationship. The cool thing about that is like anybody that's in an industry like ours, whether it's furniture or appliances or whatever, everybody that's selling is it's all referrals later. Like I haven't even been open 90 days. I've only had one referral customer thus far. But I've got like mentors and MBA and stuff that say like now that I'm 3 years in, 4 years in, sometimes even like a third of their business is referrals. So solving those problems is not just for today, because having a mattress guy is not that big of a deal. Having a problem solver, very big deal.
I love that. I really love that. There are three things that you said that I think are really key, and the last one is the problem solving. But you said that you are number one, like you're listening. You're really
Yeah.
listening to what they're saying and what's going on. Because I do think that people overlook that in terms of the customer coming in the door, and
Oh
it's
yeah.
there. People get so tunnel vision on like, I gotta sell something right now.
Yeah. Because that's your problem.
Yeah.
I've got to make rent. I've got to, those are my problems, but we can't focus on our problems when we have a customer. Like our problems are just how do we find a solution at that moment?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So number one, you're listening. Number two, I really like what you said about mirroring. And I don't, we've talked about this occasionally on our power hours, talking about mirroring a customer state and how mirroring itself is just a really good tool. I'm an avid Tony Robbins fan and use
Yeah.
Tony Robbins a lot. And a lot about like state and state change and then mirroring somebody's feeling. And so I think that's a really important thing. And I love what you said too about if they bring up a problem, you're more mad about it than they are. You're
Yeah.
making it a big deal. You're taking it on. And
Yeah.
it's almost like you're already like relieving them a little bit of. And then the last thing, I think the most important thing that you said, you are not selling a mattress, you're selling a solution to a problem.
Yeah.
And I think that's huge. And honestly, if you're listening to this and you take anything away, that is probably like the piece of gold right there is selling a solution to a problem. You're not selling a mattress.
Yeah. And the problem might be bigger than you realize too, because like the problem of not getting a great night's sleep, it affects everything. And I guess it would be the same too, like with appliance stores and stuff. There is a lot of dignity in giving someone a good night's sleep. Like me and my wife were laying down in bed the other night, and I was like, holy smokes, I was like, we've sold 120 mattresses tonight. Maybe at this moment, there's 120 plus people sleeping on something comfortable that we were able to provide for them. And I was like, there's a lot of dignity and a lot of awesomeness that lives inside of there. And it's not just I want to be more comfortable. No, like it's a big deal. You know what I mean? And especially like I'd imagine most of the customers that you guys deal with, they use LTOs like Qualify and Snap and Acima and stuff like that. People who didn't think they would get approved can get approved. So people who didn't think they could sleep well tonight on a budget or with bad credit, now they can. And that's a big problem. And if it's a washer and dryer, the dignity of maybe not having to take time off to go to a laundromat. And so it's not just a problem that you're solving in a small sense of someone needs a mattress and we gave them a mattress. You'll have customers like that for sure. I had somebody come in the other day, they bought 3 mattresses for their lake house. I don't want to be rude. There's no problems there. You know what I mean? Like they just need to sleep a little better at the lake. But sometimes it's a really big deal and it can be life changing for people.
That's awesome. Yeah, again, I think that's a huge key takeaway because a lot of people are really focused on, from what I've noticed from our clients and whatnot, a lot of people are really focused on I'm selling this rectangle and this rectangle has a lot of springs and it has a lot of foam
Yeah.
and this is why this one's better than this one. And I think again, like the key factors, like what is the person dealing with and
Hmm.
what solution can you give them for that?
For sure. For
Um,
sure.
That's awesome. So one question I have, because again, like you said, you've only been in this 87 days, you've sold 120 mattresses, which is amazing. What were some of you talked to the the mattress kind of warehouse guy that you were getting some mattresses from when you first moved. You talked to Clint. What were some of your expectations about jumping into this, and how, if any, has that differed from what you've experienced being actually in it?
Yeah, I'll say that, and this is more like specific to like the mattress by appointment people. The community element has been really great because, and like same with Sell More Mattresses, like when you do things like the Power Hour and stuff, I didn't expect so many people to like come around me and want me to win in a big way. So that's been really cool for me because a lot of times, like I've got, like we had mentioned, Clint, he's about 25 miles from me, but I've got 3 or 4 MBA dealers within maybe, let's say, like a 50-mile radius of me. And all of them are on my team. And that's just cool because it's not competition and it's not fighting for it. It's a matter of there's enough for everybody to eat. You know what I mean? So that's been really nice for me, the community that's been around me. What I didn't expect is the demand. Like I think you and I were talking about, I don't have this humongous ad budget. And it might have been one of your employees that was texting me, but I get about 550 people messaging us per month just on our Facebook ads that Sell More Mattresses is providing for us, which is huge. But eventually, like you sell so many mattresses and you're like, nobody's going to need a mattress this month. I sold everybody last month. So just that continual funnel. I heard a statistic, and as salespeople, I don't know if we're making up our own statistics or not. Maybe we
Yeah.
are. But I heard a statistics that like 1 in 10 households needs a mattress at any given time.
Yep.
And if that's not true, it's not far off. But that has been really surprising to me that no matter how many mattresses we sell, no matter how many texts we get, no matter how many appointments we get, there's always the next. And one thing that's been really hard for me, but I'm starting to live with it, that just got my heart pumping all the time, is that I will often wake up on a Tuesday with not one appointment scheduled for Wednesday. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And even if I sold 3 mattresses the day before, $8,000 total, that next day comes and I'm like, seems like the bottom fell out. You know what I mean? Like nobody sleeps anymore. So just that like continual, and then Tuesday runs through, we hit the ads, we hit marketplace or like wherever we're grabbing our leads from, and we got 3 appointments set up for Wednesday and 2 of them are buyers. So it's just this constant, just this like continuing, but it's also continuing doing the right things, like paying the marketing ad. There's signs everywhere in my city. Like it's to the point where it's annoying, like how many signs we've had out, but I love it. So it's just a continual flow, which is great for anybody who's just like looking into this industry. I used to see, like in my old city, there was a mattress firm on one side of the street, there was a mattress warehouse on this side of the street, and it was right next to a Big Lots furniture outlet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, not all those people need mattresses, but they do. Like I was talking with somebody the other day in the greater Richmond area, there's 3 MBA dealers. You represent all of them with our marketing. Between the 3 of us, we sold under 150K in just December alone. But there's 27 major mattress shops in our radius. So
Jeez.
maybe $15 million
Yeah.
in the month of December was spent on mattresses.
Yeah.
So everybody can grab a little piece of that, and there's still some to spare for next month. So it's
Yeah.
great.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Tell me a little bit about because I think again, like you're early and then you even mentioned like the ebb and flow of like day to day, like feeling a
Yeah.
little panicked about, oh, I don't have anything on the calendar for Wednesday. There's a lot of people that I think once you've been in for a couple of years, like you start getting really worn out by that. So you're not there, but I think you have the kind of mindset that would probably keep you from getting there.
That's good to hear.
What do you do? You said, okay, the panic sets in a little bit, but like, how do you reset yourself? Like when you are looking at that empty calendar, is it just, hey, cool, it started filling up an hour later, or are there things that you're consciously doing to work through that feeling?
Yeah, so I think it's like this with all entrepreneurs. I don't think we sit still very well. Still is not like a part of my DNA, which sometimes is terrible because it off balances my life, and sometimes it's fantastic because it we can really do a lot of things in a short amount of time. But like one thing that kind of gets me out of this, and I actually mark it on my sales sheet. I mark the days where I'm feeling a little uneasy, where I'm like, uh-oh, like this isn't good. So if I, like this month, for example, or sorry, last month in Virginia, it snowed and it doesn't snow here. So it snowed about 3 inches on a Sunday. And my boys didn't go to school one day the entire week. Nobody came out to buy a mattress. And we're from Detroit. So I had to tell my kids, don't make fun of the Southern kids. They don't know what's going on. We don't have the infrastructure to handle this. But nobody bought a mattress. Like it was tough. I
Right.
tried to sell one to my wife. She wouldn't even buy it. So we were in trouble. And then literally it's like the sun cleared up the sky, the snow's gone, and it just opened up. So like whenever I have those days where I'm like I feel like I've had a quiet day and a half, 2 days. I mark it on my sales sheet and I just do like a light pink highlight. And then I always look at like when I'm having those issues, I go back and I look at the next couple of days. And generally, when I'm feeling like it's real low, then like the next 2 or 3 days seem to pop pretty high. And then I just remember that it doesn't matter. Like right now at this moment, it's 11:55 on a Wednesday. I have one appointment for today and zero for tomorrow. I'm positive that I'll have several appointments, even potentially by later today, I'll have more than one, and I'll have several tomorrow. So it's always just that residual. And I think it's eventually something that will get to you, but you got to snap out of it as hard as and quickly as you can. But like when I'm sitting down and I'm like, I don't have much to do, I don't hang out here at the shop. I hit the road. One of our mentors at MBA, we do a weekly call, and she was like, Squints, you're always in your car. And I'm like, I'm always putting out signs. I don't want to sit here on the phone with you. Like, I got other things to do. So I just try to keep myself busy with follow up and with signs and stuff like that. And then eventually I can just sit back and say, I ran the play. I pay the marketing team who's killing it. And now I know that what comes next is in my hands.
Yeah.
And it always has came thus far.
Yeah.
And we got people that have been doing this 10 years. So there's no reason to think it's not gonna come.
Yeah.
And currently, I don't know how long this video will be up, but February of 2025, there's all sorts of crazy things going on in our administration. Economy's weird, inflation's high, but everybody needs a mattress.
Yeah.
So, like, we're somewhat in a recession proof business,
Right.
and we might not be selling our high end mattresses and stuff like that all the time, but people are always going to need a mattress. So, it's nice to keep in that mindset that no matter what's going on out there, I can control certain things. I can control how many people see a sign. I can control how many people get an immediate response via text message under 5 minutes every single time. I can control that when they're here, I fix every problem they have. I charm them. They're so happy when they leave that they want to send more people our way. So if you've ran those plays, the days of low will not turn into weeks.
That's really good. I really love that you track not just like from a numbers perspective, but like how you're feeling about it. I think,
Yeah, mental times of low. Yeah.
yeah, I think that's really important too. And I think the number one thing you said is you're controlling what you can control. So don't just sit there being frustrated that you don't have any customers or that you haven't had a
Yeah.
sale
Go
today.
get
Like,
them.
go get those customers, go do something
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
I think that's incredibly important. Yeah, I think we've covered a lot. I'm sure I could spend hours asking you, and I think we'll definitely like I'd love to do like a follow-up interview in another 3 months,
Yeah,
or
for sure.
a
For
half
sure.
a year in, because I think you'll have even more experience to talk about, which will be great, and new things that you've learned along the way. But honestly, you've done a fantastic job. It's been really impressive to watch. I had a good, it's funny, you and another guy that started working with us in November, I had an incredibly good feeling about talking to both of you, and you both have absolutely blown it out of the park with what you've done.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it's been nice to see like that my intuition was like, okay, these guys are gonna like really just kill it. And
Yeah. And I appreciate the flowers because that's a nice thing. But to be clear though, you and your company, I know this isn't, you didn't want to make this like a promotional thing, but like you and your company have had a big part of that. Cause like when I said earlier, like I know what I'm good at and I know what I'm not good at. And what I'm not good at, I hire out. And I feel like we hired the best. So like a lot of the times when I'm feeling like I said, like when I'm having like a low day and I'm not sure if it's going to turn around at this point, marketing companies never failed me. And sometimes I get scared and I think, oh, I better do another $50 a day. And then your team has actually encouraged me to not spend more money because they're like, nope, you're just feeling things right now. Like the girls are so sweet in your office, but they're like, just calm her down, keep it at $60. And I'm like, are you sure we don't want to do 200 a day? And she's like, we're so positive. We don't. And, but it's that peace and comfort of knowing too that the right people are in the right places like that. So I'm real thankful for MBA. I don't have to worry about not getting quality products. I don't have to worry about not having them accessible. I don't have to worry about getting a shipment of mattresses that aren't. a high enough standard for my brand. I don't have to worry about my marketing company dropping the ball because you guys are keeping that ball perfectly. So surrounding myself with a lot of those people has been huge. So I appreciate you, man, because I'm positive I could sell some mattresses to everybody that gets here, but I'm positive I couldn't have brought as many people here as you guys have. So I'm really appreciative of that. And I know I pay you. But so it's not like we're just best friends, but it's been worth every penny of the investment. Even like what I pay you in 1 month is equivalent to one awesome sale. And I get one awesome sale every few days. So it's been great, man. We really appreciate it.
That's awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you. And yeah, the team loves you. They love your attitude. They love talking to you. And so the feeling is mutual.
Good, man.
As do I. Awesome. All right. I don't want to hold you back from the work that you need to do today to get some more people in the door. And I have some other people to talk about hopefully joining us in this fight for selling more mattresses and furniture.
Yeah,
So I'm going to wrap it up for today, but I really appreciate it. I would definitely love to have you back in a few months and just catch up and see what has been new with you and what else you've learned and gained. But I have no doubt that we're going to see some more incredible numbers from you and some good stories too. So thank you
for
very
sure,
much,
man.
Stephen.
Yeah, thank you for your time. And we'll see you next time, bud.
Awesome. I appreciate it.